Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. We got another manager fired. We got PED suspensions, the first ever rivalry week. Don't worry, Poppy's back. Let's talk ball. Get out of here, Jolly. Pete Alonso.
Oh, what?
What?
That's me. Chase my draw.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek Code Talkin' 2025. I'm Jake Storielli. That is Trevor Plouffe. Rob Scirocco is here. We are talking ball. Rivalry week. Some real, some a little made up. The Vetter Bowl rolls on for the first time. I know that hit some strings for you. Trev, it was an awesome ball weekend. I missed you I listened to the You and Jolly episode, and I was just like, God, I miss my girl right now. How are you?
Yeah, we're like, dude, we could do this. Like, we don't need Jake. I got to work on my burns a little bit, but I can get him down, No? Nah, you're right, Jolly. Screw Jolly.
Yeah.
And the Mets.
Yeah.
And the Yankees.
Yeah.
It was a good weekend of ball, though, and I did consume a lot of it. It got me fired up. More on that later. But yeah, this is a meaty episode. Coach Miguel Vargas just going off. Chase Mydroth is the new Cody Bellinger, just looking high all the time. Love it.
Stop with all the White Sox chatter.
I love the White Sox, baby. Those new uniforms, the City Connects, don't like those.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of teams that lived up to their current branding. Like the Red Sox had a weird weekend. Great comeback. Endeavors is going nuts, but they lose the series. My Snakes, they are 14-12 loser, and then they win 1-0. Even this Texas two-step, like Houston and Texas. I don't know. Paul Skeens, complete game loss. We're already talking about it, so let's talk about it then. Two-step. Let's head down to Texas forever, my friend. It started out with a beauty. Hunter Brown and Jacob deGrom. My goodness, one of the best pitching duels of the year, but how's your burger? Jake with the only run in the game. Good for him. And then, like I mentioned, 4-game set. These teams split two. The Rangers had the lead in the 7th inning of every game, but they only get 2 wins out of it. Houston, most come from behind wins in baseball this year. Did you know? Fun series. Texas can pitch so well. They just can't win right now. We'll get into it a little bit. How about the Subway Series? The Yankees take 2 out of 3 from the Mets. Some fun baseball. Too many walks. A lot of this series was dictated by the walk, but it comes down. Each team wins a game. Sunday night baseball. How's your lefty? Peterson versus Fried. And then the Yankees, they have the 6th-run 8th inning. Cody Bellinger, who's the old Chase Mydroth. Grand slam. Yankees get bragging rights for a couple weeks at least. Oh, no. The Baltimore Birds are swept, and Brandon Hyde is out of town. The mighty, mighty Nationals sweep them. Jake Irvin with a nice start. Sure, James Wood, he's good. And how good is C.J. Abrams? He's got some stats out there that are crazy. Unfortunately, Birds bad. It's getting ugly. The Cedric Mullins just misplaying a ball and looking. It feels like every play is a misplay, and we're not talking about Kyle Gibson. Orioles, it's as bad as it's been. They get swept. The Cardinals and the Royals. How far apart are these two teams right now? Because the Cardinals take 2 out of 3, and they have a better record than the Kansas City Royals. They take the first 2 games of this series. They have a 1-0 victory where the only run was a solo homer. Jordan Walker in that middle game. Your guy, Andre Palante, God, you like him. He throws the ball weird. 7 innings to earn. The Royals end up salvaging the set on Waka Day. They don't give him any run support, but 2 will get it done. I mentioned the Braves-Red Sox rivalry. We're working on it. The Braves, Chris Sale. Okay, Chris Sale versus Crochet. Oh, man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you. Chris Sale has turned it back on this season. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run against the Sox. Matt Olson kicks into gear this series. I mentioned that middle game, the Red Sox with the big comeback down 5-0. Rafael Devers' first walk-off, and then he follows that up with a grand slam the next day. But the Braves go off. They put up a 10 spot. Marcel the Barrow Zuna was all over this series. And speaking of all over this season, the Detroit Tigers. How's your best record in baseball? They take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays, and you know they're one-run wins because that's just what they do. They make the game-winning plays. We can't talk about Javi Baez enough. He's getting talked about every episode because he's making game-winning plays. Dylan Dingler makes me giggle a little bit every time. He is ripping the ball. Detroit, they take the bread games. They couldn't get the Ernie Clement walk-off in the middle. And your final game in the American League, it was basically all interleague, so it's tough to label it. But it's your best Western Road Warriors. LA sweeps. And they do that, right? LA always sweeps. They're one of the best teams in baseball. Oh, no, monsieur. The Halos, they sweep the Dodgers. What? Jack Kohanowitz. How's your double play ball? Zach Neto is everywhere. Yon Moncada. And no offense to Seth, but I like my Lugos as position players in baseball. And Matthew Lugo patrolling center field for the Halos. They sweep them, including Travis d'Arnaud, who grew up a Halo fan, getting it done. That's your best Western Road Warriors, and that's what happened in the American League. God, I'm good. Get out of here, Jolly. You're not me, pal. You're not.
You are not him, Jolly.
God.
Holy
And let me
shnikes.
guess. Let me
what
guess.
What did you just read? That was the AL?
Dude, it's all interleague. So the AL, NL. It's really.
I think they were at AL Parks, I believe, except for the Dodgers.
It's really. It's art. It's a version of art.
I have the AL standings. You did a great job. I want to say that. You know, I don't ever tell you enough how much I appreciate you, but I will today. Great job. I have the AL standings.
Let's do it.
I'm going to start out east. We're your Yanks. Congratulations. They're in first place, 27-19. They are 5 games above the Red Sox. They are the only team above 500 in the AL East. The Red Sox 23-25, Toronto 22-24, Tampa Bay 21-25. Let's go, Rays. And then Baltimore 15-30. What is you doing, baby? In the Central, the Tigers' best record in baseball. Are you shitting me? Like, seriously, are you shitting me?
Yeah.
31-16.
Yeah.
Got to put some respect on that name. 5 games above my Twins, who were 26-21. Cleveland, 25-21. The Royals, 26-22. And then the White Sox, 14-33. Out west, Seattle holding on to that division lead with a sweep of the Padres. We haven't even gotten into that yet. 26-19. The Astros, 24-22. The Rangers, 25-23. They're both 2.5 games back of Seattle. And then the Athletics, 22-25, and the Angels, 20-25. And those are the standings in the American League, Pop.
Thank you, Trev. Hey, we'll go through them like we did with the Burns. I guess I do in hindsight. This Astros-Texas Rangers series, there's a lot to nibble on in a way because there's some great pitching, man. I mentioned DeGrom on the way through for Texas. Evaldi is in the Cy Young mix. Tyler Mahle. I mean, all these pitchers are ERAs below 3. And Jack Leiter with another good outing. And I was laughing at you saying, like, every time I see Jack Leiter's fastball, it's getting hit. I know that's not what's been happening because he's been damn good. Both these teams, I guess for me, Trev, live up to the billing a little bit where they split 4. So what do you do with that when we're doing series recap episodes? And I don't know, Yainer Diaz with a homer. Hopefully that matters more for Houston going forward. Jock has been playing well for Texas. They split 4 in Texas.
I mean, the first thing I thought of when I saw this series was the pitching matchups are awesome. Like Hunter Brown, Jacob deGrom, you know, old stag, young bull, whatever that saying is. Like that, and it lived up to that, obviously. And then Lance McCullers Jr. and Nathan Eovaldi, kind of like a blast from my era. I was like, I'm interested in that. They both pitched well. Then you got Blanco and Malley, two guys who are like, all right, they like out of kind of nowhere started pitching like aces. And then Valdez, another old dude who's tried and true versus Jack Larry. Like, it was awesome. And again, it lived up to the billing. You said it on the burn coming into this. I mean, Texas had a chance to sweep this damn thing. And, if it wasn't for Paredes and Diaz there in those the second and the fourth game, they could have. But that's kind of what the Astros do. They can do that. They can hit the long ball. The thing that I think about with the Astros is like when are we going to see like the guys start to go for them? And I guess you could say the same thing about almost both of these teams. They can both throw the ball well. Like the Rangers, you got to put respect on their name and what they've been able to do with their starting pitching. But both these teams have not seen their offensive stars really shine at all. So I think you can, for both sides here, you can say, man, like maybe our best baseball is in front of us. Because they're sitting right now, they're both, 2 or 3 games over 500. Sick. I just read the standings. Don't even remember that. How's my short-term memory? I think that's what you can say here is we don't have Yordan doing anything right now. You know, Marcus Semien has been basically non-existent offensively, and we know what the Rangers on the offensive side haven't been great all year, but that's kind of my takeaway here is they're still winning baseball games. They're still right there in the thick of things, and I think we're going to see a couple streaks here from both these teams as they kind of figure things out offensively.
I agree. I still like both of these teams. That's no shots fired at Seattle, and I don't want to scare them. And we're going to talk about the Vetter Bowl coming up. But yeah, I mean, both teams have scary things. The Astros not having lefties right now, and I know Yordan's hurt, but it's just weird looking at the lineup and seeing that. The Rangers bullpen scares me. But you're right. I mean, these star players, not only not being stars, but being negatives. I mean, Semien is really on the struggle bus. He's starting to go. 939 OPS in his last 11. And yeah, man, there's a lot of talent on this field. Jacob deGrom with his longest outing since 21, that matters. Hunter Brown, him and Max Fried right now are probably the favorites for the Cy Youngs with a couple other pitchers in this series that I love the talent in this series. And yeah, the Cardinals and your Twins that have just gone on heaters, I think both of these teams are going to have one soon.
To hammer my point home, Christian Walker, Jose Altuve, and Yordan Alvarez combined WAR is a negative 1.3.
Crazy.
Those are their 3 best offensive players, and they have produced absolutely nothing. So I think you're also, as an Astros fan, like, fuck.
Right.
And then you're like, you could also spin zone it to, hey, like, we're going to get better as soon as these guys, get back to the numbers on the back of their baseball cards. And I'm assuming that's going to happen, Jake.
Yeah, Texas, I guess this stings a little more because, again, you blew some leads. Eovaldi and Leiter gave you amazing starts. Credit to Houston, 6-run comeback in the 7th of Game 2, and then that Paredes big 3-run homer, which Langford almost got to. Fun teams. I think bigger things are coming for them. Speaking of fun things, the big city, Trev. It's just different, bro. It's not really. They played baseball. The Mets and the Yankees. I think this was the 3rd time they've met in the Subway Series, and both teams were in first place. And yeah, I think for me, it was a really good brand of baseball. Outside of the walks that I mentioned on the way through, if you look at the runs that scored, a lot of them were fueled by walks. We have the Soto return and the bleachers turn their back. Sure, a little bit of cinema come baseball. I talked about this on Talkin Yanks for a little bit, Trev. So I'd love to see where you're at.
I thought it was an excellent series. I mean, first 2 games, obviously Yankees come out and win the first one. Juan Soto, did he strike out to end the game?
No, he popped out.
He popped out to end the game. Second game, but he had a chance to tie the game or put his team
close.
Tie the game.
I think it would have been down 1. Weaver has to come out. Yeah.
Second game, Aaron Judge strikes out to end the game. Yeah. He has a chance to tie the game. And then last night, Sunday Night Baseball, I thought the score was deceiving, 8-2. The game was close before that big inning there by the Yankees. But I thought it was good baseball. I thought there was there's a ton of storylines there, most of them surrounding Soto, and it kind of goes, not just with him, but it's who the Yankees brought in after not getting Soto back. Bellinger obviously with the big series. Paul Goldschmidt had a nice series. So we're seeing, those guys step up. I thought it was a great brand of baseball. I will say this, man. Juan Soto disappointed me. And I think, and I hate to make it all about that, but dang, like it's hard not to talk about it. He knew he was going to get booed. Okay. And he kind of like brought it upon himself because before the series, he said, I know they're going to boo me and I'm ready for it. I think if he just shuts up and says like, hey, like I really love Yankees fans. I had a great time playing there. I'm sure things aren't going to go great for me there, but it is what it is. I have love for them. He like didn't do that. So then the Yankee fans obviously let him have it, which is great. I'm fine with that. I felt like the entire series, and Chris Rose put it this way on Baseball Today, it looked like he was acting, he said, too cool for school.
Yeah.
And I had the same feel like it was a defense mechanism. Like he was trying not to care so much because the emotions were so high for him as he was getting just pounded out there in right field. But he, not only did he not show up offensively for the series, but looked like he was dogging it. The Aaron Judge ball, this right here was, I didn't know what happened. Like bad swing. Did he think it was going to go through? Like there zero hustle. And even like I cannot stand, and call me, I don't know what this makes me, but don't make the left turn there when you're out. I can't stand
Oh,
that.
interesting.
Make the right turn, dude.
Okay.
Like that is like such, it looked like he just didn't care, man. And you're making $800 million, bro. And it's not the playoffs. It's a pretty damn big series. Like he did not put his best foot forward. And I don't care. You can go 0 for whatever, but at least put some effort into it. It looked like there was no effort out of Juan Soto.
The too cool for school is interesting. I'll say off the rip, your Yankee fans were going to rip him apart. They were going to boo. He could have came in and said, I loved my time. It was the happiest. That actually probably would have made it worse. Like they would have been like, well, then you should have come back. Money matters. Like
they didn't offer him $800 million.
They were in the ballpark, dude. And like
ballpark,
700 and 800. I don't. Well, I guess I haven't had to deal with that. But Max Fried,
like $8 and $7. Yes, that's close. 800 and 700 million is different.
Max Fried gave him the business on Sunday night, which that was pretty cool. And dude, how about Rodon? Instead of giving him the chance to really take over a game, Rodon basically walked him that first night and didn't allow him to go. So yeah, I mean, hey man, Soto does some of that stuff on a baseball field, and we normally don't care because he's a generational hitter. And yeah, I think Trev, I don't want to cali you too hard here, but you came at me on Twitter last night because you were like, this is my least favorite side of you.
God.
Do you know what Jolly tweeted out after the Mets won Game 2?
No, I blocked him.
The Mets won Game 2, and like, hey, Mets win Game 2, 3-2. They score a run in the ninth to win it, and Jolly tweeted, "Playoff Judge is back." So like at Mets Yankees, I think your Cali pulse is off a little bit. Maybe we are gross Northeasterners, but it's a little gnarly.
Just because I didn't say something to Jolly doesn't mean what I said to you doesn't make that not true.
That's fine.
You guys like start foaming at the mouth and stuff, man.
It's a little.
I like it. Hey, you know what? I hate it, but I love it.
Well, do you look?
Gosh, Jolly, that is toxic.
I mean,
Jolly does get toxic from time to time.
He does. It's in his blood.
Yeah.
That's being a Mets
Not
fan.
me.
Speaking of toxic, Baltimore, Trev, you could have called them dead. I tried to tee it up for you 2 weeks ago, and it's only gotten worse. And now Brandon Hyde is out. They got swept by the Nats. I guess in a way, I'm not sure what to say, man. The Clips, the actual baseball feels like it's getting worse somehow. It just feels like every ball into the corner gets kicked around for a second. Nothing feels clean. They get swept by the Nationals. Brandon Hyde is fired.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what that's going to do for this baseball team.
Right.
Obviously, there's some deficiencies here. We've seen some regression from some of these, key players. And this is why you have to be careful about, young guys and just kind of labeling them as the future or they're going to take this over. And like, I'm sure we said the same thing when Gunnar and Adley and all these guys were coming up, in was it 2023, and they were just crushing the ball. And Hyde's manager of the year, Mike Elias is GM of the year, executive of the year. Like all these things were going on, but these are still guys that have to survive each baseball season. Like you have to make adjustments. And right now we're seeing a little bit of regression from some of those key position players. Mix that with injuries to the pitching staff or lack of front office moves. I mean, Tyler O'Neill came in. I mean, his numbers aren't good. He's hurt now. Like everything has kind of gone wrong for them. So doesn't surprise me that Hyde got fired. Probably not his fault. They had a crazy, was it Friday, where they had 14 hits and like 4 walks and they scored 3 runs. Like they were going station to station. Felix Bautista forgets to look home after covering first on a PFP. That is day one type stuff. Look home. That is grilled into a pitcher's head and the first baseman's head on plays like that. They didn't do it. I'd rather talk about the Nationals and them just smoking the ball around the park. And James Wood doing it. CJ Abrams having a nice year. They put an emphasis in spring training about putting the ball in the air a little bit more and starting to do that. Obviously, some big numbers here. Two games with 10 runs. I don't know, man. I don't think Orioles fans going into the season would like me saying this, but these two teams kind of look like they were on par with each other. If not, the Nationals are a better team than the Orioles.
They are, and on our YouTube we just rolled some CJ Abrams tape. I loved the second homer, his opposite field one. It's 79 mile per hour slider off the plate. I mean, he goes opposite field. Still,
the ball's flying, bro.
I know, but still, it's flying for one team when they're playing against the Orioles. It's not flying for the other, dude. So. CJ Abrams, he ties my guy Alfonso Soriano, 11 career leadoff home, moves within 3. Dalton, deceptive stat alert. And yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Nationals are 21-27, so I really don't want to get lost in them. But like this was a better team won, and that the Orioles are playing. I don't know what has to happen, and you're right, man. Next time we find ourselves being. Dude, those Orioles were so good, and I remember, for them, the trade deadline, should they put their chips all in and like what? Yeah, man. If you're good, like go and get it, because what were you saving for right now? This is brutal. You said we're not talking about Gibby, but I'm sorry, Gibby. Sorry, Gibby. I love you.
He had no spring training.
It's messed up.
Even Blake Snell, when he didn't have a spring training, didn't pitch well.
Lance Lynn. Speaking of those guys, Cardinals Royals, Trev. Again, this was a weird, when I looked at the standings and seeing that the Cardinals are better than the Royals, and after that game too, they locked that in. Man, Ivan Herrera, I almost gave him my standout, what he has done offensively when he has been on the field. And yeah, it's just it was a head tilt moment for me, being like, how different is the talent on the field really? I still really like the Royals pitching, but their offense has a lot of no-shows, man.
It does. I think I've been waiting to what's the saying? The shoe to drop, the ball to drop?
I've been
waiting on the Cardinals to come back down to earth, but really when you watch this team and then you kind of look at what they've done throughout the year, I mean, they've played great defense. We know that their pitching, their starting pitching has been great. Their back end of the bullpen has been pretty good. Obviously, Halsey's done his thing. But the offense has been just as good as any of those other facets of the game, Jake. What if I told you?
Tell me.
That they were 2nd in average, 5th in OBP, 7th in runs.
Okay. I
did not have the Cardinals there.
Yeah.
So they're playing like complete baseball right now. And that has, I'm so happy for the fans in St. Louis. Everybody says we have the best fans in the world. Every single organization says that. I think the Cardinals like had a claim for that for quite some time, and then they risked losing that with what they were talking about in the offseason about what kind of year this was going to be. Why do you say like stuff like that in the offseason when everyone else is like, hey, it's going to be our year? You're like, it's going to be like a retooling. What was that, dude? Because they've come out and played great baseball and they're firmly in the hunt. And like right now, all we used to talk about in the Central, Cubs and Brewers and maybe the Reds. Cardinals are like, fuck that, dude. Like they want to win the division. So they went from, hey, who are they going to sell at the deadline to who are they going to add at the deadline? Right? Like good. If they continue this way, they cannot trade Ryan Helsley. In fact, they need to go out and get somebody. Go out and get a Kenley Jansen and pair those guys up at the back end of the bullpen because it's a good team right now, man. It's like a nice little mixture on the roster. Some veterans, some young guys. Like it's a good brand of baseball, Jake.
Nolan Arenado turned down a trade like to Houston. It was done. They've got a big homestand coming up. Detroit. Grab some ribs and a couple beers and watch those baseball games. That should be fun. And then they host Arizona too. So let's see how St. Louis continues. At one point before the final game, they won 12 out of 13. I was trying to think Detroit and St. Louis. What do you?
No, but you crushed it because St. Louis,
right?
The Bush family,
right?
And then St. Louis like ribs.
Yeah. I was
the Tigers have like Detroit pizza.
Detroit likes beer. Yeah, basically it came down to ribs or pizza for me, and I think I made the right call.
One last note, I thought it was really funny. You know, all my former Royals rivals were in town to celebrate the 10th anniversary of their World Series title, which made me want to freaking puke.
Yeah.
I love those guys. Hate that team.
Right.
Can't stand that team.
Yeah.
Hosmer even broke out the freaking mohawk again, which again, like I just love you guys, hate you guys so much. It just hurts really bad. Royals after, I think that was on Saturday night. The next day they win 2-1. They get the lead. Drew Waters triple, Garcia singles him in, and then the bullpen comes and shuts it down. I was like, fuck, man, I've seen that game happen so much. That was an homage to the 2014-2015 Royals right there.
There was I think it was Hosmer's Instagram. There was a baby Moose and a baby Hosmer wearing their jerseys, and that was nice. So
Moose has like 50 kids.
Sorry, you're filled with such venom.
What's a flock of moose called?
Meese.
Meese. Bunch of meese there.
I don't know. Rob's on that. Speaking of rivalry games, Braves, Red Sox. God, these two teams. Talk about venom. Everything you just talked about with those old Royals teams. And yeah, Trev, honestly, I got a lot of what I wanted to say on the way through. I guess the only other name that I feel like I need to say, Drake Baldwin, the big prospect for the Braves, is going off. But yeah, man, this is a little bit of what's been happening. The Red Sox have these moments of brilliance. They lose the series. The Braves sneaky have one of the best records since end of April. I think 19-10 has them as the best record in the NL since the end of April, something like that. They're sneaky coming back where Boston, the engine revs and they spin the wheels.
And Spencer Strider's on his way back. And then when is Acuna? I thought it was end of May. We're like kind of approaching the end of May.
He's playing games, and he apologized to Snitker for his comments, which was very Braves foundation of them. Because should Snitker have apologized to him anyways?
Maybe he did, Jake. Maybe it's a mutual pat on the butt type thing. Hey, in the end, it's just about going out and winning baseball games. So, I just lost my train of thought, man. Why'd you get me going?
I know. Yeah, I got you thinking about Snitker and Acuna slapping ass, and that really...
Chris Sale, Crochet, great pitching matchup there. They both kind of lived up to the billing. And then you have the walk-off homer by Devers. I was watching that live. Gets a hanging breaking ball and just leans back on it. And then he thinks he's going to be the hero again in Game 3. Hits the grand slam, and then the Braves just kind of rolled at the end there. Spencer Schwellenbach has got some. He gave up the grand slam to Devers, challenged him on a fastball, but he's got some nasty stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, everyone thinks he's like the next guy. And yeah, maybe the secret to this Red Sox, I mentioned spinning the wheels. Everyone who's not Garrett Crochet since April 30th in the rotation, 6.18 ERA, a 1.61 WHIP.
They need to figure that out in the worst way. Everyone's talking about, bring up these position players. That's all fine and dandy, but you got to find the pitching, man. This is my World Series Boston Red Sox. They're just not. It's shades of just years past, man, where you like they're just a middling team with all this talent, but the wins just haven't necessarily been there. I don't know what you do for starting pitching. Everyone's going to be on the hunt for starting pitching.
Yeah, man, you mentioned if the Cardinals ain't trading guys, like there's a lot of teams ain't trading guys. The deadline's looking scary this year.
It's a seller's market, Jake. Learn freaking finance one time.
The smart teams will capitalize. What do you got, Bob?
Acuna is set to return this next homestand, May 23rd.
Let's go.
I never sold my Brave stock. Trev, and maybe you mentioned your World Series Red Sox. Yuck. Maybe start talking about your World Series Tigers because they have the best record in baseball. The National League's so good, but the Tigers are the team. And man, when they score 5 runs, they win the baseball game. El Mago with another just crazy highlight to start this series with another double play that he creates in the outfield. And yeah, Jackson Jobe doing historic stuff. No major league pitcher has seen his team win his first 8 career starts since Roy Oswalt and Joel Pinheiro. He was gross. Yeah, man, the names are the same. Torkelson, 5th game with 3+ RBIs. Dingler, all exit velos over 105. Doing that thing you Baddoo, Akil Baddoo sighting. Look at his highlights.
He saved the last game in the first inning.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really fun to watch. No, I mean, look, we have this one guy on X who keeps like tagging me like, you were so wrong about the Tigers. I'm like, all right, yeah, I was. What do you want me to say? It's preseason predictions, dude. And I did not have Javi Baez being an all-star on my preseason prediction card. I didn't have Spencer Torkelson being the guy that he's been, man. Look at that swing. That is vintage Javi Baez right there. I mean, they're getting the job done on all facets of the game. They look great. I'm happy to be wrong about them. They're a fun team to watch, man. They really are. Like, if you enjoy baseball, you have to enjoy watching the Tigers play. Torkelson, man, he's really using the big part of the field, and you can tell he's not trying to do a lot at the plate, and that is such a good place to be. You know, even when he's getting beat, he's still getting the barrel to the ball, so he's like letting the ball travel a little bit. He's not that's when you're hitting. Not being afraid to get beat is the best feeling that you can have because you're allowing yourself a little bit more pitch recognition. And if your hands and swing are working right, you know you can still get the barrel to the ball even when you get jammed a little bit, if that makes sense. Or when you're not feeling good, you'll get jammed. When you're feeling good, you'll still find a way to keep your hands inside the balls. Like that's how you swing. And you're able to get the barrel though. He looks great, man. And they have everything, Jake. They have the back end of the bullpen that we know. They have the starting pitching, and they have right now. And look, I'll still say this. I know they're crushing the ball. I know that. I don't even know where they land offensively. I'm going to go look.
Really good, dude. They're 4th in runs.
Okay, thank you. You have it.
5th in average. They're 7th in homers. Everything is top 5-ish.
Let me just hate for a second. Do you think it's going to stay
Okay, Twins, Trev. I think Riley Green stays. I think Gleyber Torres stays. I think Kerry Carpenter stays. I think Javi kind of stays, dude. Like, yes.
I'm happy for it to
Torkelson.
Yeah, look.
He's a 1-1, you know? There's no reason not to. Look at that.
It's insane,
look at one of the better shortstops we've seen in our lifetime playing in elite center field.
And this is Jackson Merrill from last year all over again, bro.
And Trev, okay, if you told us the Tigers were going to go, would we have thought Jace Young would have been a big part of the mix? He just got optioned down. And we talked maybe that third base spot is where Javi slept. Like they have flexible options of other things that can kick in that and Trev, I can't believe I'm doing this to you, but part of me actually believes in it. Does Hinch deserve a little love?
I was just going to go there. Let me tell you something right now. I think that is my problem with the Tigers. I don't like Hinch.
I know.
Because of like the bullshit Astros stuff. When he's like, I tried to stop it.
Right, but do you like Altuve?
Yes, I like Altuve. Altuve did
People
not
made mistakes.
participate in there.
He
He
did.
benefited from it, but he didn't
He
participate.
did. People made mistakes.
I don't, again,
like
you
those.
know my take
A
on
lot of
this,
those
Jake.
guys are really good baseball players that did something bad. AJ Hinch could be a good manager that did something bad.
Agreed. I fault the old guys, the veterans in that clubhouse, and manager included. Okay.
Sure.
So, like, that's who I fault. I don't fault the young guys. They were just following orders. I have that bad taste in my mouth still with Hinch, but maybe I just need to get rid of it. Clearly, he's a great baseball mind. People say that all the time. He's a Stanford guy, me and him.
Yeah.
Stanford
True.
dudes together.
I forgot about
I don't
that
know,
connection.
man. I'm happy for the Tiger. I'm happy for Jimmy Norp. How about that?
I am too. Go our warehouse games. Our blitzball battle just wrapped up. If you're looking for something to binge, if your team has an off day this week, go check out our warehouse games YouTube. Or our warehouse challenges channel. New video every Monday. Let's keep it burning. I'm talking Sean Paul. I am talking the Vetter rivalry. He grew up in San Diego. He got big in Seattle. The Mariners sweep the Padres. Oh? Padres fans worried. Mariners fans happy because they held San Diego to 1 run in each game. And it finishes with Brian Woo-Woo. Watch out for him at the All-Star game this year. 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. And they're getting rowdy, man. Back-to-back games with a homer for him in those first 2. Seattle has been playing a good brand of baseball. I'm excited for this AL West coming up. Padres fans, just a little worried. Just a little worried. Hey, the A's. Trev, you love your A's power rankings. Here's power. The San Francisco Giants, formerly the Bay Bridge rivalry, and now I think it's the I-80 rivalry because they moved to Sacto or something. I don't know, man. Know what I do know? Wilmer Flores is awesome. 3 homers, 8 RBI game on the first night. And then, yeah, let's walk to face him in the last game. You're going to see a little bit from that at-bat coming up. They complete the sweep. Elliot Ramos was all over this series and a big game-winning final at-bat. Pirates fans, look away. Phillies fans, sweep. Even though there's some bad news, Jose Alvarado with the PED suspension, 80 games, and no postseason, more importantly. But hey, Kane is able. How about the kid, Mick Abel? What a crazy outing for his first start. 6 innings, 9 Ks, and that pairs well with Wheeler's 6-inning shutout. Phillies have sneakily been playing some of the best ball in ball, and they finish it off with a sweep of Pittsburgh. Cubs sweep the White Sox. Yeah, pal. That's kind of what's been happening this year. Our guy PCA is literally, it feels like there's 2 of them on the field. It feels like a Travis Hunter situation. Dansby Swanson with a couple big games, and same with Nico Miso Horner. Yeah, Cubs sweep the White Sox, and that's kind of what we've come to expect. The Reds sweep the Guardians. Just as I was out, am I coming back? And maybe it's because Will Trill Benson, our guy, he can't stop homering. 4 straight games with a homer. The Reds win tight ball games. They outguards the guards just a little bit in this series. Another, famous baseball rivalry game. Reds win their 4th straight. I'm thinking of drinking the Kool-Aid again. I can't shake them, baby. Speaking of can't shake them, your Minnesota Twins, pal. How about a win streak, man? 13 straight after they win the first 2 in this one. Sal Frelick helps saves the Brewers, and so does Jackson Churrio's catch at the wall, because otherwise we might have opened with some Twinkies today. Let's see if it does anything for the Brewers, who they hit a bad spot in the standings, and these Twins are rolling, baby. Rockies, Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks take 2 out of 3. D-backs, again, this should be the sweep, and okay, maybe this will spark them. They lose the 14-12 second game. They shut out the Rockies in the bread games. 8-0, 1-0. Corbin Burns and Merrill Kelly. Okay, we can build on that. Just don't lose games when you score 12 to the Rockies. And our final series, Marlins take 2 out of 3 from the Rays. Did you watch? I'll be honest, I didn't. But you might hear some Cal Quantrill coming up. Immaculate inning. Chandler Simpson's fast. Connor Norby has some real pop. Otto Lopez deep. That's what happened in the National League. And it was all brought to you by SeatGeek. Go see a game. Go see a baseball game, people. Summer's almost here. It's May 19th. And with code TALKIN2025, you can save yourself 10% off with our partners at SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticketing app. MLB, NBA, NHL. They got concerts every place that has a seat. They're the geeks of them. That means they know what they're doing. If you know the American driving system, green means good, red means bad. You know how to use the app. And with code TALKIN2025, you save 10% off, whether you've used the code at SeatGeek or not before. 10% off any tickets with promo code TALKIN2025. Trev, give me those NL standings.
I watched Rays Marlins.
Good. That's good.
Otto Lopez, a little redemption. He clanked a little
It's a
double
nice
play
swing.
ball.
A nice swing.
And put the homer. Why does everyone have a homer hat? I'm so over the homer hats. One more thing before I get to the standings. I'm on Baseball Reference. That's where I read the standings from. You know who's one of the the top 12 players right now?
In all of
Colin
baseball?
McHugh.
In the, yeah.
A little sideball. Did he call you or Jimmy has a micro penis?
I like Colin McHugh, I think. I don't know. But people I know in baseball that I like say that Colin McHugh's a great guy. His wife did say on Twitter that Jimmy has a micro penis.
Jimmy, okay.
And Jimmy's thing is always, how did she know?
I'm out on Colin McHugh,
That's
bro.
just
I fight
guy
for my
stuff.
people.
That's just dude stuff there.
I think he owned me too. That's the tough part. I'm trying to be out on him, but he's got that
had a
card on me.
run
He can
there
just play at any
Or
time.
he was nasty.
Whatever.
Okay. No
I got the
standings?
standings.
Okay.
Though. I got him. Shout out Otto Lopez. Love that name, by the way. In the East, the Mets with a half game lead over the Phillies. They're 29-18. Phillies 28-18. The Braves 1 game over 5, 24-23. The Nationals 21-27, and the Marlins 18-27. In the Central, the Cubs lead down to 2 over the Cardinals. Cubs are 28-19. Cardinals 26-21. Your Reds, Terry Francona, Will Benson. I was trying to remember, where do we know Will Benson from? Ping pong, baby.
Yeah.
Reds are dead even, 500, 24-24. Milwaukee, 22-25, 6 games back. The Pirates 15-32. Out west, the Dodgers, after getting swept 29-18, 1 game up on both the Padres and the Giants, Jake. Padres 27-18, Giants 28-19, Arizona 25-22, and then the Rockies. Every time I look at it, I cannot believe it. They are 30 games under 500, 8-38 people, and those are the standings in the National League.
Beautiful stuff, Coach Trev. Like I said, let's chew through. I mean, it was a big rivalry week, Mariners sweep the Padres. Hey, I got on the Mariners, or they were winning a ton of games. The Yankees came through town. Whoops. And man, there was a moment on Friday night when I was about to puff my chest because I've liked the Texas Rangers this year, and they were pretty close in the standings. Closer than I think you'd think from the way that both of these teams were performing. After this series, not as close. Cal Raleigh, second in the AL in homers after the first game, tied for the best in homers after the second game. They sweep the Padres in 15-3 when their starter goes 6 innings this year.
It's been their recipe. I mean, San Diego scored 3 runs the entire series,
I know.
Jake. I don't mind it being called the Vetter Cup. I follow my guy, Padres blogger on IG, and he had a problem with that. But I mean, what are you going to call it?
Yeah.
What else are you going to call it?
We're trying to make things happen in baseball.
We're trying to make things happen.
Maybe
Shout
in
out Padres blogger.
Maybe in 50
He's not
years,
having a good weekend. I'll tell you that much.
Maybe in 50 years, the Vetter Bowl will be sick. But yeah, year one, it was kind of like, eh.
I love this matchup. How could you not like this matchup?
I like the matchup.
Ryan Cohen said that this is always happens when the Padres play the Mariners. They don't play well, and it was apparent this series here. I mean, obviously we know the Mariners can twirl the ball. They've been hitting the ball exceptionally well this year. Jake, I did this math in my own head.
Love it.
In this series, 9 different Mariners had RBIs. How, like, in a 3-game set, that's got to be like close to a record. Okay. 9 different players having a run driven in, right?
Yeah, probably not a record, but like a good thing.
What do you think the record is? There's only 9 people that you can usually start. I mean, you're going to start how many people in a 3-game set? You're going to start 12?
Yeah, I'd say 12.
So maybe 12.
Yeah. Hey,
you don't like that stat? You don't like the stat? I thought you were going to love that stat.
I like the stat. It's just not a record. Like, no way. It's baseball, bro. I'm thinking about throwing percentages at you just because I know that throws you off. San Diego in their last 30 games, Trev?
500.
15-15. Look at that.
Yeah, I knew they started out really hot.
Right? So it's an interesting point of the season as we sneak up on June and summer really feeling like it's here. You know, we kind of still have this image of the Padres from those first couple weeks as the best team, like number 1 on our first power rankings. The Padres, we underestimated them. For 30 games, over a month, 500. That is the same as the Diamondbacks, the Reds, the Red Sox, the Athletics. So, yeah, just a little food for thought there.
You know, their bullpens got touched up as of late a little bit. That was lights out to start the year. Obviously, offensively, they did not get it going this series. But I think this is more of a Mariners thing. You know, they're just putting together good at bats. They're getting the job done. George Kirby's on his way back, although I believe Logan Gilbert is headed to the IL. So like they're figuring things out. But this is more of the Mariners team that we've been asking for over the last couple of years. So the adjustments have worked. My boy JP Crawford looks really good. And if you're getting an offensive series like this from Rowdy Tellez, and more often than not, I think the Mariners are going to be in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it's a little early for, well, not a little early for standings. It's never early for your standings, Big Daddy. But Seattle somehow only being 2.5 up on Houston and Texas when it feels like things have been so clunky for them. Where Seattle, it feels like they've almost won every series. I feel like it's like 9 of their last 10 or something like that. It's going to be a fun AL West this year. And your A's aren't in the mix in that AL West, but they did get punched in the nose by the Giants. Wilmer Flores night at the stadium, just unreal. And the way that Willie Adames and the whole team feeds off of him is a ton of fun. By the way, Logan Webb with a casual 8 innings, 1 earned run in that game. And then, Trev, I think the highlight we want to show the people is in that second game, zeros on the board, Mason Miller, and yeah, kind of some interesting coaching by the A's and another amazing at-bat by Wilmer Flores.
Yeah, 3 homers, 8 runs driven in game 1, and then to have the walk-off walk against Mason Miller. And this pitch right here, 2-2, is the 8th pitch to the at-bat. Slider down in the way. It looks like it's a fastball that's going to dot the corner up, and he's able to take it. And really, as I was watching this live, it looked like he was just keying on the pitch being up. He took some swings at the fastballs up, but every pitch down he took. But that just shows like he's seeing the ball really well. You got a guy throwing 104 miles an hour at you, and you're able to take a slider like that and not even really flinch at it. Like just a real quiet, simple approach right now for him. What the numbers on the year, I believe it's 10 homers, 42 runs driven in. He leads the big leagues in RBIs. I did this with Chris Rose a little bit. 11 years in the show starting the year. He's going to have 12 years in the show to end the year. He's made like $3 million every year. He's made $36 million. I was going to ask you, but I'm just going to tell you, $36 million in his career, just kind of hanging on. But the reason I bring that up is he doesn't have like really any seasons with eye-popping numbers.
Yeah.
And I believe 21 homers is his max, 70 RBI is his max. But he's had consistently good at bats, and he's been a good teammate, as you can tell by, you know, the way they react when he does something. So shout out Wilmer Flores, man, just grinding it out, like putting together obviously an amazing career.
Yeah, he reminds me a little bit of Glaber. Glaber's just had a couple big young seasons that kind of skew some of the WAR and stuff, but not a speed guy, not necessarily an athlete, but a goddamn hitter. And yeah, he's been locked in this year.
Yeah, he's got a ton of walk-off hits too in his career. Let me say this. What I loved about this series as well was watching Justin Verlander face Jacob Wilson, because he's like, fuck this kid. He's going to swing at everything. And I believe he got 2 knocks off him. No. He hit a double the first at bat, and then Luis Matos stole one from him in the second at bat. But that's got to be Justin Verlander, is 42 years old. He's like, what are you doing, bro? Like, just take the first pitch against me, bro. Stop ambushing.
That's another I faced your daddy.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Follow me back, Jacob Wilson. We're boys now.
Oh, God. Phillies sweep the Pirates. I mentioned the last 30 games. If you look at the standings, would you know that the Phillies have been the 3rd best team in baseball over the last 30 games? In a way, we always know with the Phillies, but in a way, I feel like we haven't been talking about them. They have some dominant pitching performance. They called up their next stud, Mick Abel, with as good of a debut as you can have. Unfortunately, maybe a bigger part of the story is Jose Alvarado suspended, popped for PEDs. 80 games, and more so for me, suspended for the postseason.
Yeah, it's a huge hole they're going to have to fill. I love that rule. I love that if you get popped, you cannot participate in the postseason. Because what would 80 games do? Like, yeah, okay, he'd miss it. He'd just like throw simulated games. Eventually he'd make a rehab appearance and he'd get to play in the postseason. It doesn't make any sense. So, look, it's obviously very frustrating for Phillies fans as they've been kind of searching for a back end of the bullpen. He finds himself in the closer role, and then all of a sudden he's gone. I do have a suggestion for them.
Okay, sure.
I think everyone's saying, oh, it's Dave Dombrowski. He's going to go make a move. But as we talked about early on in the episode, like, it's going to be a seller's market. Like, there's a lot of people looking for bullpen help right now. A lot of people looking for it. Not a lot of teams giving it out. I think, Jake, first of all, Luzardo's been great. Wheeler's been great. Christopher Sanchez has been great. Mick Abel comes up, and he's a stud. Andrew Painter is waiting in the wings in AAA. He looks like he's going to be a stud. They got to figure out what's going on with Aaron Nola. Phantom IL'd him. They said it was an ankle thing, but I think he just needs some time to reset, recalibrate. Don't you think in the playoffs we're just going to see Ranger Suarez get tossed to the pen and just be that guy? Throw 2 or 3 innings, high leverage, whatever it is they need. He's the Swiss Army knife for them. I think that could be the solution. You have it in-house. I know he's pitched well his last 2 starts as a starter, and he can be that, but he can also be your guy at the end of games too. So as much it sucks for the Phillies, and I think people are really wondering what they're going to do, but I think they might have the solution already. And I'm very curious to see like what they do with this rotation and what they do with Ranger kind of going forward. That's just my thought on it.
I think you see where you're at. Like, Ranger Suarez could be your 2-star. Like, he's had some of the best postseason outings. You're not wrong. Like that's a very good option. I get Trev. We're both kind of creative cats. Where my brain jumped is if you're a borderline playoff team, or maybe some of these teams we're not sure about for this year's deadline. Would you trade Jose like if I'm the Phillies? I would consider trading. He's got a team option for next year. I would trade Jose Alvarado for a pitcher, for a reliever who's postseason eligible this year. And if I'm the other team and I think I'm not going to make the postseason, I still get a good reliever back. Maybe we make the postseason, maybe we don't. But I get Jose Alvarado next year. And if I'm the Phillies, I need someone who can help me this year. I'm sorry, dude. Like, think about everything we just talked about with the Orioles. Nothing's promised. Jose Alvarado, if I'm the Phillies, does nothing for me this year.
What is his team option for next year?
I think it's $8 million for next year.
It's intriguing. I'm looking at teams right now who might be into that. Like, is a Milwaukee into that?
Maybe.
We haven't even got to that yet. I can't wait to talk about them. Milwaukee, are you into that? I'm trying to think of people who have relievers that can go. I mean, I honestly think the Twins are going to start. They might deal out of their bullpen.
Like, how about
Not
this?
to give up, but I think they have a surplus of relievers in their bullpen.
It kind of makes no sense for this team, but there's 1 year of Ryan Helsley left. If you're the Phillies, you get Ryan Helsley.
They were trying to. That was talked about in the beginning of the season, but where the Cardinals are at right now, no.
Okay, it's the thought in my head. Can we hear about your Twins Brewer series? And I'll let you run because we're deep in it right now. But it was a huge weekend.
Are we deep in? Who cares? I love the deep end, bro. Pools used to be like 12 feet deep. Now they're 6 feet deep because people want to heat them all the time.
Yeah, soft.
Where the deep pools? You can't even have a freaking diving board anymore.
Right.
Anyways, Twins. They've been playing good ball. They have a ton of injuries. I mean, Byron and I think Correa's on the IL. They're still waiting on Byron after the collision. They brought up McCusker. I texted you that. Show
big boy.
He's like Aaron Judge big.
Yeah.
Had his first at bat and just like got abused by somebody. Welcome to the show, kid. So they got their show pony up there. That's good for them. No, I mean, obviously it's the pitching. First and foremost, 34 straight scoreless innings. They've been dominant. They've been dominant, dude. And now we're starting to see little signs of life from Royce Lewis, who hits a homer, then has one robbed by Chiriot. He's all in my DMs telling me like how the media's, they're going to eat their words on him. And I'm like, hell yeah, bro. Like this guy's, he's so good. The mental strength of this individual, it's awesome, dude. Love him. He's getting it going. Cody Clemens has been stepping up. Like they've had guys step up, Jake, in some of their stars' absence, which is great. So they're kind of rolling right now. We'll see where it goes. They did it last year too. They had the big winning streak last year. I think the difference this year is everyone in the pitching staff is healthy and looks really, really good. So like they don't need a ton of offense to win games right now.
Yeah, Rob, if I missed it, the Jackson Chiriot catch that prevents this from being a sweep.
I would have tied the game.
Would have tied the game. Royce Lewis, it would have been another home run for him, and Chiriot brings it back from over the wall to secure a victory that, Royce giving him love was pretty cool. Nice reaction by that Twins fan. And yeah, I guess if you're the Brewers, you hope this is something you could circle in a couple weeks and be like, hey, we just went 7-3 after we were about to get swept. And yeah, that ends the Twins losing streak. So that marks something. I mean, things literally could not get better in Twinland. And hey, maybe Royce getting sparked is better than a win streak for them.
Well, look, if he can step up when Buck and Correa are out, like that's obviously huge. Matt Wallner's still a ways away. He had a really crazy strain. It was a quad or a hamstring. I forget what it was, but it was a hefty one. So he's working his way back. Big old quads, big old hamstrings on that guy. The thing that got me here was Pat Murphy's post-game press conference. He is ornery.
Yeah, man.
Dude. All year long, he's been that way. Just mad at everybody. I know they're underperforming, but I had him as like obviously a hard guy, hard-nosed, old school baseball guy, but always like having fun.
Right.
Doesn't seem like he's having much fun right now. Called out the front office or ownership saying we didn't sign anybody in the offseason. I like our guys, but we're not deep positionally. Like those are things like maybe you say to your buddies over some beers after the game, but not like sitting at a freaking table with the media. I don't know. Seems interesting out there in Milwaukee.
Well, maybe what we're about to see, Milwaukee has Baltimore and Pittsburgh coming up. So if there's a time to hit the go button, it's now. But yeah, I mean, Pat Murphy, I see a lot of Aaron Boone press conferences, and he's very player first, and he defends the shield in Yankee land. Pat Murphy is not doing that.
Not caring about that. But look, I mean, there's been underperformances by most of like the guys they're counting on there. Yelich has a 644 OPS. I mean, it's Chiriot's got a 689 OPS. Joey Ortiz has a 441 OPS, a negative 1.3 WAR. These are the guys they are kind of counting on, and it just hasn't really worked out for them offensively, at least. And I don't think they play great defense either, which is kind of was their calling card. Strong defense, base running. We'll figure it out with, Trio will get it done. Yelly can get it done with the long ball, but it hasn't been that way this year.
Maybe missing star shortstop Willie Adames, who almost got $200 million. Like maybe
who kept it light around the clubhouse.
Like maybe that helped. I don't know. Let's see where they're at in a week or so. Trev, I've given my D-backs thoughts. Again, it should have been better. I think the last series that really deserves some love, and I'm going to talk some more Reds coming up, but the Reds sweep the Guards, man, and I literally just kind of tapped out. I said I needed them to show me something. They showed me a little bit of something, and it's a little
Will
bit...
Benson showed you something. My gosh, it was him him and Rhys Hines, just like a blast from the past, dude.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Rhys Hines came up and only hit home runs? And we're like, what is going on here? Same thing with Will Benson a couple years ago. They kind of it was a vintage game or series for the Reds, man. And he was all fired up. I don't know, man. Hopefully they continue to do this, because every once in a while you need a guy to come up and spark your team a little bit. Abbott's been phenomenal for the Reds. That can't go understated enough. I believe Hunter Green is thrown after the groin injury, so they need him back. They can have a formidable rotation. Emilio Pagan, what are his overall numbers? Every time I see him, he's throwing the shit out of the ball in the back end. But I'm hesitant, Jake, to put a lot of stock into the Reds because I've done it for a long time. It just seems like they should be one of the premier teams in baseball with everything we're talking about. Hey, man, they got starting pitchers who are absolutely filthy. We were talking about Hunter Green, National League Cy Young guy, before he got hurt. Andrew Abbott, go check out his numbers. Like, they have the players in place, it seems like. And they're finally, I think they're 500. They're getting it back.
Man, again, it's the Reds conundrum. They're 9th in runs scored. They're 4th in starting pitching whip. They're top 10 bullpen. Like, all the ingredients seem to be there. And man, I said this with Royals Cardinals. Like, when I looked at what was on the field, I was like, what? How far off are these recipes where the Guardians just have this winning formula and we're not doing the whole thing, and it's defense and it's one series. Every team's going to get swept this year. But yeah, I don't know. Will Benson showed me a little light.
Shout out Jose Trevino with having an incredible year, man. 861 OPS right now, Jake.
Love Trevi, man. Great, awesome dude as well. Trev, let's get going to Bobby's standout performances.
It's time for Standout Performances. Standout Performances.
Standout Performances.
This guy stood out for Trev.
Say what?
Standout Performances brought to you by DraftKings. Baseball fans, the season is rolling. From now till the end of October, there's no better time than now to get in on the action with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook. New customers who use code JMBaseball can get just $5. If you bet just $5 and your bet wins, you'll score $300 in bonus bets. Let's go. From walk-off homers to no-hitters in the making, you don't want to miss a pitch. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use promo code JMBaseball. Bet just $5 on any wager and get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. That's promo code JMBaseball only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Where are you going, Coach?
I am going with our guy, your favorite Canadian, Cal Quantrill, who threw an immaculate inning in his win against the Rays. He struck out Jonathan Aranda, one of baseball's premier hitters to start the season. Christopher Morel, your guy, and Cameron Meisner on 9 pitches. Obviously, that's an immaculate inning. I like when immaculate innings are all strikeouts, too. Like, you get a ground ball on one of them. Like, it's not that great. But this is what I wanted to say about him. Overall numbers, not very good. But he started to throw his cutter a little bit more over his last 3 starts, and he's had a bunch of success with it. So a guy like Cal Quantrill, who's, been a big leaguer for quite some time, I'm curious to see if he gets some looks around the league as the trade deadline approaches. But that added pitch, man, this is what we talk about all the time with pitchers now. Like you find something, it works, and all of a sudden you're a kind of like a new guy. So yes, like the beginning of the season wasn't great for him. He's throwing the cutter more now, a little bit more aggressive in the strike zone. And the last 3 starts have been pretty dang good for him. I have the numbers up right now. 14 and a third innings pitched to a 3.14, 593 OPS. I don't know. I love immaculate innings. Only 118 in the history of the game, and he's got one of them.
Congrats to Cal. Yeah, he's a guy I've always liked a little bit, and if he if he ends up at the trade deadline at one of the teams that we've now dubbed pitching factories, I could see Cal Quantrill in there, and a deadline that we're a little nervous about. Like, yeah, that's an MLB arm that. His last 2 stops, Miami and Colorado. He was at Cleveland before that, but he had a lot of success in Cleveland. I mean, he was 4 years, he had 450 innings and a 3.58 ERA. So that goes to show you, if you're in one of the right spots, sometimes things can work out for you.
Drafted by the Padres in the first round. Been all over the place.
Yeah, right. It's a long career at this point.
Stanford guy.
Trev, I have put myself in a little bit of a pickle here because I had a panic attack trying to pick out my standout performer. I originally highlighted Wilmer Flores, but I was like, we're going to talk about the 3 homers and the 8 RBIs. I jumped to Ivan Herrera, who has just been knocking the ball around the yard. His stats don't look real because it's still been a small sample this year. Then I went to double down on Brown and DeGrom because a young bull, old bull, young calf. That's the one we were trying to get to earlier. I think I'm gonna finally do another audible because we didn't really talk about this. I'll go Corbin Burns along with Merrill Kelly. I'll pair them up. I know it's Colorado. Corbin Burns has started to figure it out this season, and his stats. Dude, we hold him to such a high standard, and rightfully so, because he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's had back-to-back starts without giving up an earned run. As of his 4 starts in, he had a 4.64 ERA, and okay, we're nervous about Corbin Burns. His last 3 starts now, 19 innings pitched, 18 strikeouts, 1 earned run. That's a 0.47 ERA. With him in that Diamondbacks rotation, and boy, they need anything they can get out of the rotation because the bullpen is still horrifying for our Snakes. Merrill Kelly has dialed it in. He went 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 earned runs, 11 strikeouts. I guess I can give you a lot of good butter knives for Merrill Kelly, who ever since he got rocked early on this season, his last 7 starts, a 1.88 ERA. So, the Diamondbacks, who, when you look at the standings, they've been just doing that, just head above 500 a little bit, treading water. We're wondering if the light bulb's ever going to go off. Is it because of the bullpen? Maybe if their starters keep giving them this, which Corbin Burns is rolling, and Merrill Kelly, his most strikeouts in back-to-back starts in his career. A little loves to my Snakes when there were so many dudes who had big games.
There's a lot of guys who we're not going to mention here. Cody Clemens, I kind of did on the run through of the Twins. He stepped up big. We talked about CJ Abrams, Logan O'Hoppe. We didn't really even get into the series that he had out there against Kirby Yates, 3-run home run. Okay, Logan, our guy. He also left me BP passes for a firefighter family of mine. So thank you for that. Yeah, nice guy. I don't even think he knows it was for me, but maybe.
The Halos. I don't know if he knows it was for me. Well, Trev, the good news is for a lot of these guys, if they've been standing out, that means they're in Fueego.
Dirt Nasty's on Fueego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
We need our guy Dirt Nasty on the show. I keep saying that. Just stop by one time, a live performance of that.
What episode are we at?
For the people.
Have we hit 1,000?
We are going to start off with your guy. We talked about it a little bit. Cody Bellinger. the Juan Soto, he comes into town. Well, Cody's like, hey, like, I'm pretty good too. I got an MVP. I'm your kind of like your replacement. You went 1 for 10. I went 7 for 11 in the series, the double, 2 home runs, one of them a grand slam. That was a big time at bat and kind of like cinematic or movie like that it landed right over Juan Soto's head in right field. That was kind of in for that. So shout out Cody Bellinger for a great series. Matt Olson put the team on his back out there in Boston, 7 for 12, 2 doubles, 2 homers for the 1.8er. Jackson Holliday's been playing good ball, people. For all the shit that's going on in Baltimore, Jackson Holliday is starting to show up. 7 for 14 in the series, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Love that for our guy Jackson because he's just a young pup, man, trying to find his way. Yeah. How about Jarren Duran? 5 for 11, a triple because, of course, a homer and 4 runs driven in. It's his 19th triple, Jake, since the start of 2024. Tied with who?
Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll. Yeah, good job. Attaboy. This one warms my heart a little bit. We're going for the week now, and Fueego for the week. This is a nice list to be on. Miguel Vargas.
Yeah.
Ace Maidroff's teammate.
Yes.
But people remember the sad face, gets traded from the Dodgers over to the White Sox. He has been raking, Jake. 10 for 24 for the week, 2 doubles, 4 homers. He recorded his first career multi-homer game on Friday, and that was the first multi-homer game for any White Sox this season. So maybe continue to feel bad for him a little bit, but he's playing good. I like that. Zach Neto, one of my favorite players in the big leagues to watch. So a couple of young shortstops out there that I like. That's usually my flavor, the young shortstops. I got Jacob Wilson. Zach Neto's been my guy, though. He went 8 for 24 with 3 homers in the series. He hit his 3rd leadoff homer in May, and they became the 5th Angel in franchise history with 3+ leadoff homers in a month. Taylor Ward did it last year in September, but he, especially on Sunday, opening the game up, they win the first 2 games. Dodgers probably going to win that last game. No, Zach Neto's like, let me start this off right. Absolutely blast that. Good for him. You mentioned Ivan Herrera. He went 11 for 21 during the week. 3 doubles, a homer, 5 runs driven in. You also mentioned Matthew Lugo, another Angel here. Okay, Angels. 7 for 20, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 4 runs driven in on the week. My guy Cole Sands sneaks it in here. I like that because he's one of those bullpen pieces I was talking about with the Twins. They got a plethora of guys back there. 3 games, 2 saves, 4 innings pitched, 3 Ks. He went 12 up, 12 down. And he's a really nice guy. So shout out Cole Sands. That's awesome. As the Twins dominated with their pitching. I got some other guys that are shoved. You know, I like to give pitchers some shine every once in a while, not too much.
I like these first 2 a lot, too. Some kids.
Seattle starting pitching Logan Gilbert. No. Logan Evans. 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, no earned runs against the Padres. He, Jake, is the first Mariners pitcher to go 5+ innings pitched and allow 3 earned runs or less in his first 4 career starts since, just Bryce Miller in 2023. But shout out Logan Evans. Jack Kahanowitz of the Los Angeles Angels. He owns the 2nd highest ground ball rate in American League in the American League since the start of the second half of 2024. That's a mouthful right there. But against the Dodgers, goes 6 2/3 innings pitched with 5 hits and only 1 earned run. Miles Michaelis has a nice start, 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. Drew Rasmussen of the Rays has a nice start, 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. And then we talked about Mick Abel coming here. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs for him against the Pirates. Faces off against Paul Skeens. And Paul Skeens after the game said he was the guy coming out of high school. And now he is the guy again in the big leagues as the Phillies sweep the Pirates. And those are my pitchers that shove, Jake.
Trev, fantastic stuff. A lot of hitters going off. A lot of pitchers having a day at the office. A lot of pitchers making hitters want to grab maybe a Corona. Making me want to grab a Corona. Want to know the best part of baseball? It's kicking back, ordering some Coronas and enjoying the ride. Corona, I like that Corona's a front row or a last row beer. You're good. You're creating your own island where you can watch ball from the first pitch to the last pitch. There's nothing like sharing one amongst friends. So get yourself an ice-cold Corona, the official cerveza of Major League Baseball. Grab a lime. Treat yourself, people. What are we doing? Life's short. Get a Corona, get a lime, enjoy America's favorite pastime with Mexico's favorite present time. Get yours. Order Corona.com. 21 plus. Enjoy responsibly. Corona Extra Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois. Trev, it was funny listening to you and Jolly. You guys did a role reversal. Having him doing Fueego and then you having to feel the drab of the batters who are struggling. A TBT slump watch for people into the IL. Batters who are struggling. And this is to get them back. Young Christian Campbell. It happens to everyone, my friend. It happens to everyone in this game. 4 for 43. That's an 0.93 batting average. And he struggled at home this year, oddly enough, in the beautiful Fenway Park. A 169 batting average at Fenway. He's 282 on the road. That'll change. Everybody hits at Fenway Park. It's coming, Christian. Trev, I'm sorry. Max Kepler, the German, 4 for 40. That's a 100 batting average. OPS of 435 with runners in scoring position. That's the lowest in Major League Baseball. Come on, Max. Luis Robert, man, I just don't get it. I saw him. There was a tough juxtaposition of Pete Crow Armstrong making just the catch that we've become too familiar with him making. Luis Robert got to a ball and it went off his glove, and it was just like, I think we got to get you out of Dodge. He's hitting 062 with 2 strikes. That's the lowest in the AL. 098 on breaking pitches. That's the lowest in Major League Baseball. It's just not right. He's got more than that in him. Tyler Stevenson, a friend of John Boy Media, 6 for 36, 167. Striking out a lot in the last 14 days, the highest K percentage in the NL. And you mentioned Yelly. He's hitting it into the ground, Trev, 62.3%. That is the highest in Major League Baseball, in 087 on inside fastballs. What's that?
He's late.
Get that foot down. Squash
He's
the
got
bug.
kind of a lot of movement in his swing, kind of crouches down a little bit, can get a little long at times when he's going well. He's not. He's,
Right.
getting ready on time, and the swing's a little bit more compact. So
Let's get
I
hot.
do want to say this. I just looked up Max Kepler, obviously born in Germany. He went to John F. Kennedy High School in Berlin. It's good to win wars, people. My goodness. Can you imagine?
Right? Yeah, that's
Like a high
wild.
school named after some other dictator or whatever they got over there.
Speaking of the IL, that's crazy you brought it up, Trev. Trev, I got Correa and Buxton.
I knew Buxton got placed on. They were waiting on him, but I think McCusker came up for him.
Right. So let's see what that does for the Twins, but they both go on the IL. You mentioned Nola
Just
and
a stupid play too. Gosh darn it.
It's a weird sport sometimes. Erod, who's been on the struggle bus for Arizona, shoulder inflammation. Nola that you mentioned before, maybe sprained right ankle. Let's see what's going on with all that. Seth Lugo and Cole Reagans for Kansas City. That's scary.
Reagan's is a groin. I think he's done it a couple different times already.
Yeah, expected to miss a few weeks. Seth Lugo, right finger sprain. So let's see there. Evan Carter goes on the IL for Texas. Damn, I think he's coming to the office this week. You mentioned Tyler O'Neill, Kirby Yates, Danny Colom has been so good for your Twins too, Trev. That's a lot. Luckily, when one person goes on the IL, someone comes off of it. Not fully true, but something to live by. Darian Blanco for KC. He had a big hit for them. Tyler Fitzgerald for San Francisco. Jonathan Loaizaga for the Yankees.
Saw him come in the game last night.
Looked good. Goatee Johnny. Now, Spencer Horwitz for Pittsburgh. He was supposed to be a big ad for them. Maybe that can help. Clayton Kershaw came back. Not the start he wanted, but he's back. Tommy Edman for the Dodgers when he was taking down the world. Otto Lopez, we can't talk about him enough. Zeke Tovar, who had a massive game, and Kevin Pillar for Texas. Can we start everyone's week?
Awards.
Thank you, Kels.
I'm going to go with the Time Heals All award.
Okay.
Now, this has happened. It happened a couple times in my career where you get into a situation and there's a coach who maybe you just don't get along with right away. Maybe he doesn't like you. Maybe you don't like him. You don't like where he's from or the attitude or the way he approaches things. I had a guy like that in Minnesota who at the beginning of my career, well, there's two guys. One was Tom Kelly, who famous Minnesota Twins manager, very tough, especially on young guys. I'd go to spring training and, like I made errors, dude. Like I wasn't that great of a shortstop. He did not like that. So he was just on me through defensive work all the time. And at first I wasn't mature enough to really handle that. So I just didn't like him. I was like, dude, this guy's mean. He's mean. As I got older, I realized there's no room for being a shitty baseball player. Like you got to get better, Pop.
Right.
Like that's just it. He just wanted me to get better. And that was his way of doing it. So I ended up him and I have a really good relationship now. I think he did help me. Especially at first base, he taught me a lot. Another guy, Steve Little, who was like a bench coach for the Twins. When I first came up, it was such a veteran-oriented team that really rookies had no place, and it was just just don't fuck it up. I heard that so much when I was a rookie. Imagine that psychologically. Right. But then again, it took some time. But Steve Little and I became like buddies, and I just kind of understood where he was coming from. But it took a while, and I think that vice versa, he maybe thought I was, California kid. He was a dude from the South. Like, hey, who's this kid? Doesn't really care about anything. But then you realize, hey, that's just my personality. I'm not going to get too hot, not going to get too cold. Like I got to try to stay even keeled. So eventually, we became buddies. I feel the same thing is happening with me and the commissioner's office. And Major League Baseball, the Shield as well. People that listen to this show understand I'm a players guy. Was served on the executive committee for some players, CBA on the Players Association side. And man, it got just hammered into me we're good, they're bad. We're good, they're bad. And there were some times where I believe that they weren't acting their best and the negotiations weren't in good faith. There's definitely times where I thought that for sure. But the changes that they've made over the last, I want to say 5 years, 6 years, I think the game of baseball is in a better spot now than it was. And I think I can say that with 100% certainty. We got stolen bases meaning something again. The disengaged rule, I wasn't really on board with it to start, but the product is a lot better. The pitch clock, I think, has been really good for baseball. Especially when you're watching on TV, the pitch clock is great. When you go to a game, it's a little fast, but I do see people more engaged in the game while I'm at these games. People are watching because the action is faster. So those are two major things that they've gotten right. I think the ABS system is going to be another one where they get right. I think they're going to keep the umpires. I think we're going to have that. The challenge system is going to be fine. All these things are working out. And they hit it out of the park again, Jake. That's a baseball pun with rivalry weekend. And I thought they had this going already in baseball. The Twins would always play the Brewers, but it was more scattered throughout the season. To have one big rivalry weekend, I thought was awesome. I was glued to my TV almost all weekend. I didn't want to miss these series. And yes, some of the rivalries are manufactured. It's more like a territorial thing. It's more like a region thing, which I think is fine. We need more of that. My suggestion here is I thought it was a great weekend of baseball. They should do it twice. Twice a year should be a rivalry weekend where, the Yankees had the Mets at home. They should go into New York and they should do all the series just in reverse. So I have two rivalry weekends throughout the year. There's something about that, the territory aspect of it. We've talked about realignment and kind of make it more regionally based, the divisions. but it worked, Jake. So like they're trying these new things. They're trying to get in. And for the last 5-6 years, man, I feel like baseball's hit. So I gotta get, if I'm gonna get up and crush Major League Baseball when I think they're not doing the right thing, I also need to stand up and say, you guys are crushing it when they're doing the right thing. So this is kind of my tip of the cap, if you will, to Major League Baseball. I think they've gotten the game in a better place. So it's taken a little bit of time, but I think we're like, are we friends?
Interesting. Yeah, it's there was I made a couple jokes along the way, but also everything's made up. Like if we're just being real,
life,
like the Super Bowl, like what used to not really be something, they just said, "Hey, let's do one." And let's it's funny in the movie Semi-Pro, they call it the Mega Bowl, and they're fake hyping it up and creating something. Everything starts somewhere, and then it becomes something. And whether you play golf with your buddies, you play tennis with your buddies, you do beer Olympics, like whatever you do, if you make it something, it becomes something. It's something that Jimmy is great at. I mean, and everything in that family and with his friends and now this company, if you make it something, it becomes something. Look at our warehouse and stuff like that. Yeah, I thought it was funny. The Reds, I think I saw them doing some interviews for Rivalry Week, which, again, the fact that if there's media behind it, it's getting out to more people, and that's good. And I forget if it was Hunter Green or someone, but they were like, yeah, we hear Cleveland talk about it a little more than us. And it's like, yeah, you just tilted your head, and it's like, okay. Like, that first time you put your name or you hear your name in someone else's mouth, You start acting a little differently, and it looks good for the Reds as they come out of it. And Will Benson playing out of his dome, 4 straight games with a homer, including 2 in the last one. And yeah, not every rivalry is natural, but maybe it becomes more natural. And I don't know. Trev, we be honest with the people. I don't talk like that. That's horrible. We try a lot of stuff with this show, and we try to get it out to more eyeballs and grow the game ourselves, along with the diehard baseball fans that could listen to you and me talk about Reese Hines or Ben Williams, whatever flavor of the week it is. But we try to get it out to the people that aren't in love with baseball now, but we want them to love it more. Today was one of our juicy episodes. We've been trying to keep the show tighter, because that's better for the YouTube algorithm. But today there was a ton, and I think part of it was Rivalry Week. So if you like this episode and you like this weekend, make sure you comment and share, because that stuff helps us. It helps the game. And yeah, dude, baseball's in a great spot, and it really is.
Shohei Ohtani, Dua Lipa, Sabrina Carpenter,
John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, that's for the algorithm, people.
The Martian. Trev, I did a late second audible because I was going to give my award to Will Benson, just because he's back. And if you've got him, Rob, we got the highlights of him playing ping pong at our old spring training house, where he gave you and Jimmy the work. This was at spring.
He's so long. It's not fair.
He's so long. It looked like someone was playing a different sport. That's Kelsey Wingert keeping. Oh no, Trev beefed the
I think I was high.
Kelsey Wingert keeping score with her hands. Me and Chris Rose on the broadcast. Rob, floating around back there. That Arizona house will go down in history. But I'm audibling because Will Benson's awesome, and hey, I hope he starts carrying the Reds to more wins. 4 games in a row, 4 games with a homer, including 2 in that last one. And just a great baseball story and a great guy. Like he was so good in 23, and he was so bad in 24, and now he's back, and he's been killing it for Cincy. But Trev, I beefed it a little bit, and you talked about baseball and being young, and you got to own up, and you got to be real about it. And you had to move over to third. Sure, it wasn't going to happen at the bigs. Trev, I beefed something. And that's why I'm giving out the Can You See My Halo award. Because, Trev, I moved it in the show. I told you guys, I was like, hey, let's get Angels-Dodgers up. We'll do it in the AL, our Road Warriors. They swept the Dodgers. They swept the Dodgers. We just did our power rankings, and I still kept the Dodgers on top. I said I don't care about the injuries. They are the Dodgers. Power is power, blah, blah, blah. The Halos, I gave them my test this year. I said, hey, Halos, I'm going to treat you fairly. They went on one of their worst stretches of this season, and sometimes that's how baseball works. They swept the mighty, mighty Dodgers. I don't think the Angels took a 3-game Dodger series at Dodger Stadium for the first time since 2012. Just took the series. It was the Angels' first sweep this year. It was their first 3-game sweep of this series since 2010. And Trev, like you mentioned, and I kept hearing it as we went through the show. You're like, Logan O'Hoppe, we got to give him some more love, right? Yes, we have to give him some more love. He's one of the best young catchers in the game. Zach Neto, yes, we have to give him some love. He is one of the best young shortstops in the game. And d'Arnaud, who ends up hitting the game-winning homer, he grew up a Halos fan, which you don't hear that a ton. we get a lot of, they grew up a Sox fan, they grew up a Yanks fan, they grew up whatever.
East Coast bias much?
Kenley Jansen threw his hardest pitch in 3 years. I know we're going to talk about him probably joining some other teams later this season. Jack Kohanowitz with a big start, rolling the 2-ball against the Dodgers. Hey, the Halos swept. They deserve some love, and I couldn't finish this episode without giving them some. Because again, I'm starting to think it's not their year again. But there's some good young ball players on this team. And you know what, Trev? Somehow they're third at home in home runs this year, 22nd at runs scored. That don't make sense. That just
not a lot of hits in between, but in this series, man, they just jumped out to leads every single game. 4-0, 3-0, 4-0 were the leads in each of these games. Dodgers, tried to come back. They score a ton of runs late in ball games.
Yeah.
So when Kenley came in, he had to come in the 8th inning and pitch over an inning in that game, game 2. I was watching it, sipping a nice Costa Brown Pinot Noir at my friend Robbie's house. Shout out Robbie. We were watching it. Like, this is cool because, obviously Kenley, LA legend, doing it against the Dodgers, and he got the job done, man. So, a great series. And I think if anything, if you're a Dodgers fan, like, you already knew this in the back of your head, but anything can happen in a 3-game set, 5-game set, 7-game set. You just know, like, we keep talking about this Dodgers team as being one of the best rosters ever assembled, but baseball doesn't care. You got to do it now. You know what I mean? Like, anything can happen. And I think this, when we get to the postseason, and maybe the Dodgers will be at full strength, and maybe they're just going to run through everything. I don't think it's going to happen, Jake. I think they're going to have to scratch and claw this year. And a year where we like, this is the greatest roster ever assembled. It doesn't matter. Baseball is not designed like that. So this is obviously a huge example of that.
And man, I've been thinking about clubhouses a lot today. Like, how fun must the Tigers clubhouse must be day in, day out right now? Your Twins, the Cardinals, the Halos, man, this weekend had to be pretty sick. And dude, go around that clubhouse and remember Kyron Paris at the start of this year and how, okay, is the breakout happening? That slowed down. Tim Anderson is on this team. TA77, now wearing number 77, hitting last and playing some second base. Jorge Soler swinging that big thing around the clubhouse.
My God.
And Yon Moncada is now in the middle of this lineup. Yeah, Yon Moncada
is really good. You know what I imagine?
Nolan Shenuel is 23 years old, hitting second for them, and we don't talk about him a lot. Like,
it's Sean Ewell.
All run by Ron Washington. Like,
this is what you got to think about this, Jake, in that clubhouse. They probably have old school newspapers in there. They're sitting there in their lockers reading newspapers because they don't have a phone. I love that image in my head. Somebody in a towel with the crossword out at their locker. Like, fuck, like, is this today's newspaper or yesterday's newspaper? What's changed? Like, so good, dude. I don't know if they're still doing that, but
hey,
they are.
Let's Dodgers have Arizona, which that's always fun. And then they head to the New York Mets and then Cleveland. So let's Let's see what goes on with these Dodgers, who they have a 1-game lead on the Padres and Giants. That can be fun. They just Chris Taylor released Austin Barnes, which Dodger fans almost took your head off for that before the season, and now that happened. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Dalton Rushing, the guy they brought up, we're getting to Dodgers now at the end of the show. This is why we're yucking ball, people.
Yucking ball.
Dalton Rushing looks like the real deal. I'm curious to see how they split that playing time because in my head, I was like, oh, Will Smith can just DH a little bit more. It's like, no, it's like Shohei Ohtani exists.
Yeah,
so no.
I think he'll DH a lot of those days.
So,
Will Smith playing great.
Where are you, Khalil Green? I think about that way more often than I should.
If you people know, and if you listen to that, please comment Khalil Green below.
Where are you, Khalil Green? I need to know.
We thank you guys so much. We will be back Wednesday for the midweek. Let's go ball. Let's go ball. You guys are the best. I'm going to have a week. Yeah.
Me, Chase Mydroth, Khalil Green. What do you think we're doing at nighttime?
I know.
You know.
Actually, I don't know. Are you back in the game?
Not really, but I would be with that crew.
Khalil Green currently lives in Greer, South Carolina, with his wife and 2 sons.
He went to Clemson. Makes sense.
Go.